Mikaela Mayer, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm in Vegas in training camp. I'm actually just pulled up to Joe Joyce's gym, who is the main event for April 15th. I'm the co-main. He's also out here in Vegas training, which is a coincidence. So, yeah, everything's going good.
So does that mean you're doing a bit of sparring with a big heavyweight then, and maybe his trainer Ishmael Salas, who's more your size, to be honest.
Salas, no sparring with Joe Joyce, just some shadow boxing and in the gym together. But Salas is hilarious because he's actually in platform shoes while he works with Joe because Joe's so tall and he's so short.
I've seen that he's got. I remember Adam Booth years ago when the trainer Adam Booth, when he had David Hay and he was fighting Nikolai Valuyev, that he wore platforms as well, just
Yeah.
kind of ape or copy the height and reach that he was going to have to be facing against the 7'2" giant Nikolai Valuyev. So, because Salas is
I think
probably about 5'4", isn't he? So,
I think Salas just does it so that he can actually reach him with the mitts.
but he's a brilliant coach, obviously renowned with the Cuban amateur team as well.
Yeah, Robisi is also here training. Robisi Ramirez. I don't know Salas very well. I've only met him a couple times since I've been here, but he seems like a really great guy. It's a great gym. I love Vegas in general. Training in Vegas is awesome. Everybody's out here training. I'm kind of bummed because I have my house in Colorado, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna finish my career here. The altitude, blah blah blah, and now everybody wants to come to Vegas and train. It's just you have so much work.
And that helps sparring and all those things, doesn't it? And being in that roundabout in that environment.
Yeah, it's fun. It's exciting. Every day is sort of different. And, I know in boxing and training camp, things can get so monotonous going to the same gym every day, similar workouts, similar sparring partners. But here, everything's mixed up constantly. So it's super fun. And we still go up to the mountain, which will give us the altitude runs.
Is that
So that helps.
Charleston? Up to
Yeah,
Charleston? Yeah,
Mount Charleston. Yeah.
yeah, brilliant. Well, you're in combat gear, and it looks like in a kind of truck. So,
I'm in my Jeep.
oh, you're in your jeep. You're getting ready for war, aren't you? Basically.
Yeah, well, BT Sports is here today, so I'm a little glammed up for the workout. But we have some interviews and some media stuff that me and Joe are doing together. But yeah, just sitting in my Jeep till we're done.
You were kind of more camoed up, you know.
I
Um,
am. I'm in the green today.
brilliant. Look, but let me look backwards before we look forwards.
Okay.
Tough fight. There's still back and forth between you and Alicia Baumgardner after an amazing event last year, frankly. I know
Yeah.
you didn't come out the right side of it in terms of getting your hand raised. Um, but what's that done to you? I mean, how do you assess those? They say a loss is a learn and all those things. How have you assessed it? How have you put it to one side? How are you building again?
It was difficult because especially being a female in the sport and being sort of the pioneer in the sport, this generation of women, we really had to create a path, right? And it took a lot. It took more than just one world title fight or one belt to get to that level. It really took a lot. And so to get to that point in my career finally, which I felt was past due, and then to not come out on top, it was just like I felt like I was taking a huge step back when in reality, it should have been finally my big step forward. And so it was definitely challenging on me mentally. Um, but that's boxing, and I am not new to that feeling, and I'm not new to perseverance. And so I just had to take the time to pull myself together and keep going. And through the process, I realized that I am still very lucky because I still have a lot of opportunity. I'm still in a great position with a great promoter on a great network. I have the ability to go to multiple different weight classes. And so I just got to keep going and work my way back up to that title. I think that my next fight that's one of the reasons why I chose to fight someone like Linardatou. She's a top contender, a former world champion, and someone like her will get me a win against her will help to get me back in position for a world title.
And obviously, you're doing this at 135 pounds lightweight. She's been a champion at 140 as well, hasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
What we call
Yep.
light welterweight or super lightweight. It's a good challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good challenge. Her only two losses are to Katie Taylor and Delphine Pursoon.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted Delphine Pursoon. I keep saying that I want to continue to challenge myself against the best. There's no reason that I should have, even coming off a loss, that I should have any type of filler fight or stay busy fight. Like that's just not the type of career I want for myself. There's so many big fights for me out there. I'm in my prime, and I want those big fights to happen now. And so I know that I'm not going to get those world title shots again if I don't continue to challenge myself and get big wins. And Linardatou is definitely a test and a step up. And I got to get through her and prove that I'm still the best. That's what I want to prove. That's what I want to prove this year, that I'm still the best.
Mm.
Yeah, get that fight against Katie Taylor. You know, she's the champ at 135, and I'm at 135 now. Uh, and that's the goal. Whatever division I'm in, the goal is the champion.
And obviously that is on April the 15th at the Copper Box on ESPN Plus, I think it is, and BT Sport over here in the UK.
Yeah.
Um, um, when you fight at 135, like you say, at the moment, there's talk over here in the last few days. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor's fallen through. It looks like the next fight for Katie Taylor, maybe Chantel Cameron. That's a British audience fight. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Ireland and the UK. Chantel Cameron is at 140, isn't she? I think I'm right. Yes, she is at
At
140.
140.
Yeah, undisputed at the moment. Um, is that a fight that you project for Katie after Amanda Serrano, or you need to win and then you just put yourself in the mix?
Well, Serrano is injured now, so it looks like it's going to be Taylor versus Cameron, right? Chantel Cameron.
Yeah,
And
for May sometime.
yeah, for May. And then maybe Serrano towards the end. Yeah, Katie does seem booked for the next year. But it's so crazy, like this sport. Things just keep happening and you
Yeah.
never really know what's gonna happen. Now Serrano's injured, now Chantel's getting the shot, which I think she deserves. She's been wanting that fight for a long time. She's undisputed. It makes sense. But you just never know what's gonna happen. And luckily I can go to multiple different weight classes and take the opportunity once it's available to me. So I'm just
Or
gonna
just
stay
being
ready.
ready. Or just being
Yeah,
ready, isn't it? Yeah, yeah,
being ready, being in
yeah.
position. Um, that's what I got to do for the next year, and that's just what I got to do. But I'm definitely, I definitely feel like I not going anywhere. Like one fighter, one loss is not going to make me fall back into the shadows. Like that's just not who I am. I've worked too hard to get to the position that I'm in. I'm too good of a fighter. I'm still important to this generation of women's boxing, and so I know that a big fight against me and Chantel is doable, and it's
And
going to be
Natasha
great.
Jonas and
Natasha
Katie
Jonas,
and Delphine Pursuit. I know there's loads. You're there
so
in that
many,
group. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so many great fights for me. And you're right. I just got to stay ready.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about getting ready now. Joe Joyce is a brilliant character. He's an amazing guy, amazing fighter. His stock has risen enormously in the last year. We're looking forward to what we're calling the bang against Zhang,
Mm-hmm.
him against Zhile Zhang, obviously on the same card. Are you getting any capoeira tips from Joe or not?
We've only been in the gym together a couple times. Just focus on each other, on our own training. But um, I wanted to be on this card, and I had a choice. I could have stayed in America and fought for the co-main for Obisi Ramirez
Yeah.
against Dog Bay, and that's a big fight, it's a big card. But I just thought that this was going to be bigger and greater, and I did so much work going into the Baumgardner fight last year in London. Did a ton of media both times that I came out, and I just wanted to continue that momentum and get back out there in front of the UK fans. I thought this would be an awesome opportunity and an awesome card to be a part of. um Joe Joyce is obviously a really popular heavyweight out there, and yeah, I'm excited to go in there and help him sell this fight. I want to sell it out, and I want to steal some of his fans.
No, you've definitely resonated over here. You've made a name for yourself. I mean, women's boxing is big over here. There's no doubt about it. It made huge strides last year for obvious reasons. The events
Yeah,
that took place here, the success of Natasha Jonas, the all women's card that you were on, it was a massive success, even though it was delayed. I thought it was a miracle almost that they managed to keep all the fights together, due to
yeah,
the delay of the departure, the death of Queen Elizabeth II. It was extraordinary that all those fights was still able to be put on just a few
yeah.
weeks later. Um, you know, does it is it nice being in that synergy with Joe that you're in the same you're gonna be in the same camp now all the way to I suppose you'll probably both pretty much leave the same time to acclimatize over here as well.
Yeah, I think he leaves a little bit sooner than I do. But yeah, it's nice because, you know, I want to, he's the main event, I'm the co-main event, and I want to really work together on selling this fight. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like I learned a lot in that last fight. You know, one thing you can't always just rely on promoters and everyone to kind of to sell the fight for you. Like I'm sort of learning that right now, that it's just uh it's really rewarding to just to go out there and really build the fight and reel in as many fans as possible. And so I think that's cool that me and Joe can sort of work together and do that and
Yeah.
just create a cooler atmosphere for everyone who attends.
Well, like you said, like creating a cool atmosphere. I don't know whether it was the case, whether you were trying to sell the fight last time with Alicia Baumgardner, but you seemed genuinely angry with her in the build-up. I don't know whether that was real emotion or whether she
Oh,
did.
that was very real. Everything about me and Baumgartner's rivalry is very real, and I think that's why it was it was so captivating to
Yeah,
people. And
yeah.
you know, there was nothing fake about it, and I think people really sensed that. And so it was exciting, and I think that rivalry is still very much alive. So when uh when she smartens up a little bit, maybe she'll come knocking and we can do it again for them.
Do you think you will do it again? Do you want to do it
I
again?
think she'll come knocking eventually. Yeah, I think she will. um you know, I there's such a rivalry there.
It
Like we're like a
sells.
stock,
Oh, it
right? Like a
sells.
stock
Yeah, yeah.
that keeps earning money. No, you don't pull out of that. You don't cash out. Like you
Mm.
continue to earn your money. You continue to build on that investment, on that stock. And so um, that's how I see it. That's my business mindset. And I know that eventually they're going to see that too. You know, she's kind of like in her head right now, and she's got the attention, and she, her head's a little big, and she wants to enjoy that
Yeah.
and fine. But at the end of the day, like you have to capitalize on the opportunities that are in front of you, and this is still a very big opportunity for us and to give back to the fans and do a huge fight. And the promoter should see it too. She should see it, the promoter should see it. I can't be the only one who sees it. The fans
No,
want
no,
it,
no, it's
so it's a
there. It's
no-brainer to
definitely
me.
there when you guys want to do it. There's no question about it. Finally, can I just get
Mm-hmm.
your take on Saudi Arabia? I mean, there's a lot of talk and debate around the kind of the synergy, if you like, between what's promotable at the moment with Jake Paul and Logan Paul and KSI and Jake Paul moving more towards trying to be a real boxer and the dispute over whether the WBC should be giving rankings or not, and Tommy Fury defending the integrity of boxing, if you like. That last weekend created a lot of debate, and on the undercard, of course, well, not on the
Mm-hmm.
undercard, but as chief feature, Badu Jack wins a brilliant fight to become, the oldest cruiserweight champion in history. And then we have an fighter and a six-fight fighter who's never fought a boxer before, fighting in the main event that probably is being predicted as 500,000 pay-per-view buys. So what's your take on that? Do we pigeonhole that as just a one-off event? Is it marketability? Do we just accept people like Jake Paul and Logan Paul coming into boxing and them showing that they're not really boxers, they're real novices, but they've just got great cojones and desire to show themselves? I mean, there's all these things laid out there. It's fascinating. My question, I suppose, after saying all of that is, how do you see it as someone who's ground their way to the position where you are?
Um, it is what it is.
Okay.
It's the new era. It's just with
Mm.
all the social media um, there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is, and whether we like it or not, people are biting. People want to see these fights. They follow Jake Paul. You know, he's got millions of young people with the YouTube thing and Disney Channel thing, and it's different, and it's hard for boxers like us who came up the tough way and would only dream of that type of exposure and money. But you know, you can't hate on anyone's hustle. It's just the world these days. It's where social media has gotten us, and so you got to use. I know if anyone knows this, it's me, and probably a lot of the women in the sport. Is you got to use what you got. You got to use what your advantage is. You got to find what those are, and you got to in this world there's so much competition. No matter what you do, you got to find your niche. You got to find what you're good at, and what is going to give you the advantage. And so you can't hate on Jake Paul. He's just hustling and living his life. I mean, millions of people are watching. So if we had the opportunity, we'd be doing the same thing. We gotta be able to adapt and compete with that. um you know, it's difficult, but it shows the power of social media these days. You know, it's so important. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't hate on any of it. Um, I did think Jake Paul was gonna win because
Did you?
I
Did
wasn't
you? I
actually
can't believe you
I
thought he was going to win.
I wasn't I'm not a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Tyson Fury, but I wasn't a huge fan of Tommy Fury. And I know he's still somewhat green a little bit, but I don't know. I guess I thought that Jake Paul was just really hungry and he was going to come out there and be relentless. But Tommy Fury definitely outboxed him. You know, I watched the fight. It was exciting. It is what it is. I think it
It
was
was
actually
exciting. It had something compelling about it. I'm surprised you. Listen, a lot of people picked him, but Tommy used
yeah,
basic boxing skills to beat him, didn't he? You know.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
he did. So, you know, um, yeah.
Look, it's great to catch up with you. Have a brilliant camp. Don't forget to give Joe Joyce a dig in the ribs from me when you go in the gym today. Give him my regards, and
Okay.
we can't wait to see you over here in London for that fight with Christina Linardatou on the week of April the 15th. Brilliant to speak to you.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.
I'll see you soon. Thanks.